Hi,
Thank you very much. We were in a room, Catherine and I, all by ourselves. We're like, well, this is a little odd. We were expecting a few more people, so we're not sure what's happened, and we're really glad that you were able to get in. We just allow a minute or so more just to allow a few more people, and I'll start the presentation.
Wow.
Does everybody see that okay?
Yep.
Yeah. Can I ask, just in terms of feedback, what we notice is that it can, I don't know if people are noticing that, if you're not talking, just to place yourself on mute, if that's okay. Thank you, everybody. We're just going to do that. So we may have a few more people join us as we continue. Obviously, we've just said we weren't in the meeting. Sorry, can I just ask people again just to mute yourself if you're not talking, if that's okay? Thank you very much, everybody. So if I just start, my name is Natasha Lord. I'm a clinical psychologist working for Worcestershire Health Care Trust Older Adult Mental Health Service. Unfortunately, Tina Payne-Lunn, who is the Historic Environment Records Officer, is anyone having trouble with feedback? Tina Payne-Lunn, the Historic Environment Records Officer, who is with us. Unfortunately, isn't able to be in this workshop, but she will be attending the next one. So before we begin, I just need to let everyone know that we are actually streaming live to Facebook and to YouTube. So we ask people to include their individual health experiences whilst we talk. Well, thank you, Sally. I'm just being advised the sound is really cracked. I'm just going to start the presentation for now and see what we can do.
Well, live.
Can I just ask that you're able to mute yourself? Unfortunately, what's happening is when we share the presentation, I'm unable to mute everybody. So if you... Hello?
Yeah, mute myself.
Thank you. Thank you. So technology. So we've started. Few hiccups as can happen, but welcome everybody, because we're really excited about this project. And just going back slightly, so I'm Tash Lord. I'm a clinical psychologist here at Worcestershire Health and Care Trust Older Adult Mental Health Service and co-lead for the Worcester Life Stories project. Unfortunately, Sheena Payne-Lunn, who is the Historic Environment Record Officer for Worcester City Council, can't be with us today. She will be at the next workshop, and she's really sad not to be able to attend. I asked just in the first instance, we are streaming live to our YouTube and Facebook site. So this is going out to all the public. If possible, please don't share sort of individual health experiences, because we can't limit who this workshop is going out to. So for people that have just joined and may want to know a little bit more about Worcester Life Stories, this is a joint collaboration between the Health and Care Trust and the City Council. It's a 2-year funded project that started in June. We're incredibly exciting. The first bit is about the interacting platforms that I'll go on to talk a bit more about. And then towards the latter half of the next year, we'll have the time trail, our museum exhibition and book. And so there's a number of really exciting things coming up. So just to talk a little bit more about that, some of you may be aware of the Know Your Place workshop that we had last month. So that will be Know Your Place Worcester. Know Your Place has actually been around for a little while. It was developed by Peter Insole in Bristol. And the aim of Know Your Place is a web-based application and will be a map of the city. And the idea will be that you can either look for things thematically. So Sheena, whilst you're not here, I was going to take your example of the Ford Anglia car, or you might look up geographically by street. So in that instance, it's if you lived in Pump Street, you'd be able to click onto Pump Street and you may find that there's an image, that there are facts from the historic environment record that Sheena covers, or people have placed their own memories. And the idea behind that is that it will continue to grow. It will be a live resource that people will be able to access. Now, I am not doing Know Your Place justice without Sheena being here, but what will happen for ourselves is that with Peter's input, we have looked at some of the language and how accessible it is, and there will be a number of workshops looking at how we can involve more people and think about what that may look like. Apologies for the beeps that are coming through. That's just people joining the presentation as it's going along. Now, the second one, the Worcester Life Stories platform, is why you're all here today. I'm really excited about this. So this is going to be hosted by the Health and Care Trust. And the two main aims of the platform as it stands at the moment is that you'll be able to develop your own personalised Worcester Life story. And the idea behind that is it will be private. No one else will be able to view it unless you decide to share it. And we are thinking about that being even downloadable as a book or potentially as a movie. So it may be something that you want to share with friends or family. It may be living in a care home and would like to share that with other people. It may be perhaps somebody who has gone into hospital. They're not able to communicate some of their who they are, what's important to them, their needs, and that would be something that would be able to be shown via a movie in the background. The second bit, and one of the reasons why I got in touch with Sheena was I used to be an inpatient psychologist, and when I did that work, we used to have this amazing gentleman that would come and talk about the city of Wolverhampton. And what it enabled people to do was to be able to come together over a shared experience and feel empowered in what they were able to say, feel included in kind of the difference, hearing those different memories and just come away from and connect with that ability. And what we would like to do is do that for Worcester. Now, people have said to me, so Sheena came and did a presentation, I mentioned this at the live launch, on the history of the hospital on the Ronkswood site. We've also had people talk about when people worked at K's. There's actually a lot of projects out there that I'm aware that I'm not aware of. So people may know that there's the gloving project that's happening at the moment. And there are things that have happened in Royal Worcester. And I think if some of these things come up, our hope would be that we would link into those bits and we can start to build a real resource. So if you're at home or you're living in a care home, or like me, who was working in a hospital, you'd be able to download that pack and it would have photographs, facts, memories that would enable you to bring like a mini Sheena with you who would have that knowledge to be able to promote that and do that session. As part of the project, one of the things that Sheena and I recognised is that it's not always easy to get online. Some of that is about accessibility. The other part of that is in terms of perhaps feeling nervous about getting online, not sure about it. With the organisations such as Platform Housing, Association of Carers, and a number of others, and I'm sorry I can't name everyone today, it's going to be a big part of the project in terms of thinking about supporting people to get online. So that's going to work alongside what we're doing, and we'll start to talk about that more as the project progresses. I know that you're all here because you're already interested in life stories, but I guess I wanted to say a little bit about the benefits. So it's that opportunity for people to be able to capture their story. We know from the research and what people tell us that it can be really rewarding and empowering. So for any of us, being able to commit your story to paper, and I was speaking to somebody that I work with recently, and she was saying that she'd done her family history and had created it into a book and had printed off 50 copies so that she could share it with family members. For people who may be feeling low or may not recognise their resources, what people have told us is actually being able to do a life story can remind them of different times and when they've overcome things, and that's really made a difference for them. Life story and being able to do it has been shown to be helpful across the lifespan. So even thinking about, as this is not my area, young people and children have said that opportunity in terms of shaping their identity and thinking about who they are. And then for thinking about people living with dementia, so a life story can help in terms of that opportunity to let people know who I am, what's important to me, what would I like to take forward. So there are a number of benefits across the lifespan that we know. As part of our project, we've been really lucky that the Historic England, sorry Linda, have funded the Association of Dementia Studies. So Simon Evans and Shirley Evans are working with us, and that's two-pronged. The first bit is about looking at the research in terms of the impact of our home, where we live, on our well-being, and what does that feel like. The second bit is on our workshops. So I imagine for a number of people, I hope that you've got the link, and what we're hoping to do is we want to make these as good as possible so that at the end, when the two platforms go live, so Know Your Place will go live towards the end of this year, and the Worcester Life Stories platform that we're working on today will go live in March 2021, is we want to ensure that it matches what you thought it matches. So if possible, please complete that survey. And it may be, oh, that was an awful start, it was really crackly, I was in a different meeting room, whatever it is, it enables us to get better next time round. So there's the link. It will be on our Facebook page, our YouTube. I can send it out via the Gmail, or just let us know. So first one, who is the developer that's working on the platform with us, and not knowing if Chris has arrived yet, maybe chipping in later in terms of the workshop, wanted to get a sense of what did we mean by life story. So when I went to, I wrote an article recently about the project that we were doing, and I put a call out asking if anyone would talk to me about their experiences. And you may recognise the photo because it's the photo that's on the poster for this workshop. And Ron came back and said he'd be really he'd really wanted to do that and make a difference, and was happy for me to share this. I'm not sure if Maggie's on either, so I'll check afterwards. But this just gives you a sense of what a life story can look like, and really it can be as much or as little as what is important to you. And at the moment, we're at that sort of early stage where we're thinking about what's going to be in the platform and what you want to look like. So this is just to give you a sense of an idea. So Ron and I met. We only met for sort of 45 minutes. And I tell you what, and I said this to him, I said, I can tell you're a right cheeky chappy. So he was just telling me about, this is a photo from when he was at St Paul's School in Worcester, about how he used to dive off Worcester Bridge and that his mum would get fined for it. And I thought what was really interesting, and I didn't ask Ron if he had a photo of the schools and things, is one of the great things about this project is that historically, when people did their life story, it would be going into a kind of a shoebox where you'd have put all your photographs or into albums and taking it. We're actually moving the other way, where people are saying there's so much out there that it can be really difficult to sort of funnel it down and find what's right. Worcester Life Stories platform is going to link. So going back to the model that I showed you, is going to link. So going forward, if I was Ron and I wanted a photo of that school, I'd be able to go on to Know Your Place and then look for information that's there. This was one of Ron where he was saying to me that, and I'd ringed it when we'd seen it, about how he was the little boy sort of in the left-hand one towards the end, and about his friend Reggie. And Reggie came up regularly in his story about his early experiences and what it meant. And then he went on to tell me, and this may really resonate in terms of people, in terms of that he was saying to me, that's the hangar in the background, and about how it was a training school, and the experiences that they had. And I just wanted to move on to this one, going back to this cheeky chap. He was saying that, you know, some people may have known about Parks Bath, which was the swimming pool facility that was there before Sampson Walk. And what we know now is Sampson Walk is now closed down, and it's at Purd as well. And some of this information would be lost. And when I was looking at it, I was seeing that, so the Changing Face of Worcester are actually supporting Worcester Life Stories in being able to bring some of the photos and the work that they've done, and thank you very much to that. I looked at some of the information that they had on the swimming baths, and how within this photo it tells you about that there were wooden huts off to the right, and how it can build on that memory and offer an opportunity. And I found out so much through, Ron showed me 6 photographs in terms of his early experiences and what was going on, and that opportunity to contribute and to connect and to be able to pass on was really, really important. So that's just a little, very little sense of what it's like in terms of developing a life story. Today, most importantly, wasn't to do a presentation. It was to talk to you all about what you thought, to get a sense of how people are already using the internet. When you heard about this project and was thinking about this platform, how did you see that platform developing? There's going to be a series of workshops over the next 6 months, looking at from here is getting those initial ideas through to coming back and saying, this is what we think we heard, are we right, to starting to build that platform and people testing it out and saying, this is accessible, this doesn't quite hit, this feels it's moving in the right direction, through to going live. So what I'd like to do now is stop sharing, and for some of it we've actually got, so verse 1 is the developer that's working with us, and from their perspective there needs to be some information in terms of the background to Worcester Life Stories, in terms of what that platform would look like, how do people use the internet already, what are some of those basics. So what I'm going to do is just talk you through each of those questions and get a sense of what you think. And then we can go more widely to thinking about, what do we want to get from the platform? What will it look like? How will it look most helpful? So I'm going to stop sharing now, and then we'll come back together. So can everybody see me okay? Yeah, and everyone can hear me okay? Great, thank you very much for that. I'm aware for a few people that you've currently not got your videos on. Catherine and I spoke about this, and one of the best ways that we're going to do this, you can tell technology, it's a different way. If we were in a room, this could just be an ongoing conversation. But I wondered whether on some of the specific questions that our developer needs is we could just do a show of hands, or start to build up a bit of a chat. Is that okay? So, I can see there's already starting in a chat, so thank you for that. It doesn't say who it's from. So the getting to know me in Memory Boxes Alive will be of great value. Absolutely. This is just one thing. Was that you, Sammy? Yeah, thank you very much for that. And I think it is about combining things in it and thinking about all the different options that are out there. So if you'd like to unmute yourself, and then we can start talking about it. The thing to think about is, okay, it's going to be quite a lot of feedback. We'll think about how to do this creatively. Does everybody know how to use the chat box outside? Yes. Okay. It's amazing what you'll do just in the moment. So go back. We'll try it another way. How many people are really using the internet or thinking, for me, thinking about the people that you maybe support or are working with, or are thinking about when you think about this project? Absolutely, thanks, Danny. How many people are already using the internet? That's the first sort of sense we want to get. How many people are actually able to use it as it stands at the moment? So either write it in the chat box. So what people are doing is raise. Oh, I can't see where we're getting that feedback from. Sorry, Alice, was that going to be a question? People are using the internet. If you'd like to talk, raise your hand and we can do it that way. Is that okay? So thank you, Hanneke. So have used it with individuals when talking about their past to look up places or old cars. So at the moment, that first bit, if I've heard that correctly, is that for a lot of people that you're working with aren't on the internet using it themselves. Is that fair? Raise your hand if that's a yes. Okay, so half and half. When you have been using, for those that have been using the internet, put your hand up if the device that you use is a desktop computer. Okay, 1. How many people are using the sort of tablet devices? Okay, so tablets are coming up more frequently. And the reason that I'm asking this question is, from the developer's point of view, how they'll set up the platform will really vary, whether it's a desktop computer, a tablet, or a mobile phone. So thank you, Danny. So it's about using sort of iPads and tablets are the main one. Yeah. Anybody using mobile phones? Couple of people. 3 or 4. So generally not a desktop PC, more about tablets. Some people are using phones. Yeah. Are people using the wireless or are they using a wired connection? So hands up if it's wireless. Wireless. Brilliant, thank you. Okay, I know it sounds a really odd thing to be going through, but as a developer thinking about a platform without knowing this, it will really affect what it will look like and I'm looking at Catherine now because actually this is out of my remit, but it's things like bandwidth and how you view it on a screen and etc. etc. I'll let yes. She's nodding and giving me a thumbs up, so I'm on the right path. But these are some of the things that we need to figure out. When you're doing things with people, are most people browsing websites? Hands up if it's a browse website. 1, 2, 3, 4. Feels like a bingo, like 5. How many people are doing sort of Facebook or social media? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Thank you. Yes, from Danny. Yeah, were you yes to both of those, Danny? I'll wait on that. Does anyone use any sort of video calling? So Skype, Zoom, WebEx? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Okay. Anybody use online bank FaceTime? 8. Anybody use things like online shopping? 1, 2. Nods. 2. Thank you. 3. Sorry, 3. Online banking. Oh, online banking is very popular. That's a majority. In terms of experience of using these online services, which 2 are your favourite and why? So I'm going to say them first, and then I'll come back to them if that's okay. So the 3 options are: it's easy to use, it's a nice design, or other, and then we need to expand on it. Okay, so when you're using online services, are you using it because it's that particular website because it's easy to use? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So at least 7. How many people choose it because it's got a nice design? Nobody. Okay, that's really important in terms of what this platform looks like. So no singing or dancing. What about other? If you've got something that you think, Tash, you really need to think about for this platform, can you raise your hand and just let me know what you're thinking about when using a sort of online website? I feel the pressure when Tara.
Often if someone's recommended something to me, then I'll be kind of keen to use something if it's got like a good review and things like that.
Okay, that's brilliant. Thank you. So something about recommendation, and it comes back to that thing about easy to use feels really important. And then 2 things that are coming up in the chat option if people aren't able to look at it is having really simple language. Thanks, Linda. Sorry, Carol. Thanks, Carol. And then not too complex and have a good search option. Okay. When we come through, I'd like to expand on that a little bit more, Linda, if that's okay. Sally, that's great, isn't it? Because it's something that benefits me. If you can, if you can do it, then it's if it's for you. Sorry, Alice, your comment's actually gone off my screen, so I'm having to scroll you down to read it. So Alice has written, in case those that can't see it, I was redeployed for a few months. I was redeployed for a few months using Zoom, and it's gone. It's all right. I can go back up. The pandemic has increased knowledge around digital technology, although patients and relatives need to work through it. It didn't take too long to pick up. Tablets have been more accessible and easy to access. Have I read that right? Yeah. And then Paul, coming down to you, a couple of our sheltered schemes have desktop PCs, others have smart TVs, while others have very little. So there's something about the hardware, if I've got the right word in that, in terms of making sure that when we think about this project, how people are able to access it in that way as well. Is that fair, Paul? You can unmute yourself. Yes. Yeah. Anything else that people think are really important when we're thinking about developing this platform? This is probably one of the most beneficial in terms of the workshops, in hearing your voice. So if there are particular things that you're thinking about, this is where Chris will be taking that information away to start to build the platform as we think it would be really helpful for the people that we are. And Sally, I think your point of it's got to be beneficial and easy to use kind of really links into that. The final set of questions. So sorry, Sammy, many of our residents get bored easily, so quick search is essential. Yeah. So there's something about not too many steps, and that it's easier. I'm semi-laughing because obviously I had Catherine here helping me, but we had a number of steps to get our live stream working, and of course each step means a potential problem, doesn't it? That's the thing in terms of being online. Coming to Worcester Life Stories, thinking about yourselves, but also the people, as people have already been doing, that we're, for me, one of the things that's really exciting about this project is going back to the things that people are saying, is we're hoping that this will increase people that haven't been able to be online for whatever reason that is that it's going to widen that. And then also what's coming out of it. The first question was just checking out how many people that are here. Do you live in Worcester? Hands up if you live in Worcester. So half of people, I think. And then if I do it in blocks, how many people have lived in Worcester less than 5 years? Nobody? Oh, Jackie, thank you. 5 to 10 years living in Worcester? 10 to 20 years? 3 people? 20 to 30 years? 1, thank you, Roz. And over 30 years. Brilliant. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And hands up, or in terms of this, does anyone have a favourite part of Worcester? Roz? You're still on mute. Would you like me to try and unmute you?
Can you hear me?
I can, yes.
Yeah, Claines.
Claines?
Yeah.
Would you mind me asking why?
It was where I was born, and I lived there until I got married in my 20s, then moved away to Shropshire for about 20 years and then came back.
Thank you for sharing that. That's really lovely. So that with being born there and that holding that special memory for that reason, and then
Yeah.
Thank you. What about other people? What's your favourite part of Worcester? Cathedral, says Catherine. Do you know that's mine? I think I mentioned that at the live launch. There's something about walking down by the river that, I don't know, just when I'm down there, I just feel different. Worcester Cathedral. Thanks, Tara. Claines and Fernal Heath. Bike rides as a teenager, and then down by the river and canal. Can I ask the people that have said, because I guess there's something about linking with childhood and the memories that evokes, and then there's something about how I feel right now in terms of what's beneficial for me right now in my story right now. Would that be fair for the people that have said about the river and the cathedral? Didn't check who that was. I've actually preempted the next question. That's a bit bad, isn't it? The question is, why is this your favourite? So does anybody, if I've missed anything, does anyone want to add in terms of why that's their favourite? That's okay. Oh, sorry. I'm reading it as Hag 1. I'm sure that's not your name. So yes, sorry about that.
Yeah, it's Glyn Harding.
Thanks, Glenn.
Yeah, I put in the chat, working in a voluntary capacity at the cricket ground, how in the summer a lot of our members feel that it's an absolutely special place, with a cathedral in the background, and then reminiscing on memories of maybe watching top players play there years ago, kind of thing. So I'd say New Road, and then obviously people with a football background, the old St George's Lane, where Worcester City played for many years.
Yeah.
Okay.
No, thank you, Glenn.
Okay.
And I'm sorry I didn't pick it up on the chat. Obviously, that's going a bit quicker. I'll come back to make sure that I've not missed anything that people are saying on that, if that's okay. One of the questions, and I guess this really fits in terms of thinking what the platform would look like, is what medium triggers the best memories for you? And if I give them, okay, it's thinking about text, so what we write, the image, a video, or music. And I guess this is thinking about what this life story may look like and how we're going to be building that up. So just to enable that, can I just ask everyone to raise their hands if I was thinking actually that's going to miss it really, because I was thinking for me it might be a combination. It almost needs to be a 1, 2, 3, 4, doesn't it? Catherine, are you watching right now?
I am watching, yeah.
Okay. Little bit of participant interaction or engagement, however you want to take that. We've obviously got 4 options. If it's your preferred option, that's number 1, your second preferred number 2, your third number 3, and obviously 4. When I give the option, put up whether it's your first, second, third, or fourth. Does that make sense? Did you realise that you were going to be doing a bit of a game as you came on? So for text, which option would it be for you? Okay, so bear with us whilst we try and work through this. So we've got, if I look for ones, for those people that don't want to put your videos on, that's absolutely fine. Just put it in the chat or let us know. So I'm looking for a 1. So Sally, you look like you're a 1. Sorry, keep your hands up, everybody, just so I can do it. Sorry for not being quick enough. So Sally, you can put your head down, your hand down, you're a 1. If you're, in terms of a 2, keep your hands up if you're a 2. So we've got 1, 2, 3. Put your hands up if you're a 3, if it's your third preferred option. 1, 2, 3. Right. And then if it's your fourth. Okay, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. This is not how I imagine we'd be doing it, but here you go. Right. The feedback was too great. Okay, so same again. So if you were seeing a picture, would it be your preferred option, your second preferred, your third, or your fourth? Okay. So for those of you that it's your first preferred option, put your hand up now. Oh wow. Okay. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Okay, brilliant. If it's your second preferred option, 1, 2, 3, 4, 4. Third preferred option? Nobody. Fourth option? No. Okay, brilliant. Video. So if video is your preferred option, put your hand up now. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So some people have put their hands up again. So are images and videos equally powerful? Are you talking to us, Linda? Because you're on mute. No. Yeah, not to us, that's okay. So put your hands up if video is your preferred option. 1, 2. Okay, if it's your second preferred option, put your hand up. 1, 2, 3, 4. 4, okay. Third preferred option? 1, 2. Fourth preferred option? 1, 2, 3. 3. Okay. Finally, this is the last one. Thank you for bearing with me. Best memories for what triggers best memories for you? That being music. Would that be your first preferred option, your second, your third? Who is it their first preferred option for music? So nobody for music. 1, Sammy? Yeah. 2. Sorry, Linda. 2. That's okay. So music for a couple of people is your preferred option. Second preferred option. 1, 2. 2. Okay. Third preferred option. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay, and then fourth preferred option. 1, 2, 3. Okay. So the sense that I've got, it's a bit hard to follow. So please say in terms of the feedback that photos kind of come first, close second is videos, then it's about what's written, and then it's music in terms of preferred options for triggering memories. Yeah. Thank you, everyone, for that bit. What I'd like to go to now comes back to the bit that I was just saying in terms of being able to, and I know it's not easy actually on WebEx, it feels really didactic in some ways. You have to work really hard at it, don't you, in terms of coming back and forth. We just wanted to ask, when you came today, what are you thinking about for this platform? So that, what do you want it to look like? What would you want in it? What would you find most helpful? And the reason that I say that is this was kind of, what I was thinking about. Sheena had ideas, we've met with other people, but it's only going to be as great as hearing from yourselves. So if you've got a thought, just raise your hand and then we'll just take it one person at a time, if that's okay. I kind of missed the back and forth, but here we are. So what are people thinking? And also, are we on the right track? You might come off this workshop and think, well, I'm not coming to another one because they've missed the point. Sorry, Alice, were you putting your hand up? Yeah.
Yeah, it was just something I just popped it in the chat, but I didn't know whether, when you mentioned sport, I feel, for me personally, sport brings a lot of people together. And in Worcester, we've got such great access to sport across the county. I don't know if that would be some way we could tie it in. Just a thought, really.
Glenn will be. Do you want to respond, Glenn? You're going to be. Yeah. You're still on mute.
Oh, right. Yeah. I think it's. Can you hear me all right, Alice?
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I'm passionate about sport, and I think a number of people are in the same kind of situation. And I think you're right. If you think about the cricket club in the summer, rugby club, and the rugby club really up at Sixways hasn't been there so long. As somebody said in the chat, it actually started over at Beaver, And I think there's many people who had some experience, males and females, young and old, of playing a sport at some time. Linking to the schools, you've got School Sports Day. But I think we've got to be very proud of Worcester as a community on some high-level sport as well. I think it was about 51 years ago, Worcester City actually beat Liverpool in the FA Cup at St George's Lane. Now, the football club have got a video of that match in grainy old black and white. So I think to link from this site to the site of St George's Lane, which unfortunately isn't a pitch anymore, would be a really interesting thing, especially as some young people, their granddads may have played in it, or some young people might have bunked off school and actually watched those kind of games. And I think there's a rich heritage in Worcester, and I think there's loads of people, there are lots of photos and things which they would love to share about their memories sparked by a rugby match. You think about the rowing club, you think about AP McCoy riding at the race course in a horse racing. So there's the river, you know, the rowing club, the canoe club, you know, the list is endless. And I think this platform would be fantastic for people to share sporting memories, and I'd really be keen to help and collate and bring those kind of groups together.
That's brilliant.
Okay.
Thanks, Glenn. And do you know what? We don't give her enough credit. She's not going to like me for this, but look, if I turn, there's Catherine, who the IT tech that's helping me do this today, and also there she is. She's been the one that's not there. And she's also been making notes of everything, so we'll make sure that we keep that. And has already been in touch, and it's been instrumental in that. So thank that. I've had a note from that says, "Don't ask me if I'm a robot." Question. Is that right, Sally? So there's something about those bits where it comes up. We need to think about. You're not having to. Yeah, no, I absolutely agree with you. For me, it's the traffic light things, you know, if you keep clicking it and then it says try again and you're like, yeah. So I know my frustration on that. What have people written in the chat? And I'm sorry, I wonder if BBC Hereford and Worcester would also have audio clips. Thank you, Brian. That's really that's something that we could perhaps follow up. Yeah, we're just making a note of that in terms of thinking about that. Good images to encourage people to start talking. What were you thinking there, Carol, in terms of what we've talked about so far, or can I ask a bit more about that? Do you want me to see if I can unmute you? Can't hear you. No, we can't hear you now. Don't worry, I'll try and catch you maybe afterwards to find out a little bit more what you were thinking, so we don't lose it. You've just said could also have a number of pictures. Yes. Sorry, I think I really wanted to stress about how we fit with Know Your Place, but I've spoken to first one in terms of linking to the internet and other sort of internet sites. So perhaps talking to Worcester News and in enabling all the different ways that people can pull into their life story. Is that what you're thinking? You're still on mute as you're talking.
I'm going to say I put the Barrows in because most people know Barrows is the oldest newspaper in the world, and everybody used to queue up for the Barrows. Every Thursday, everybody used to wait for the Barrows to come out, and so I think using pictures from that era would evoke a lot of thought.
Yeah, and I no, that's a really, really good point. And I know Sheena's doing some work, I think, with Barry Kinghorn. So maybe we can just follow up on that, Catherine, in terms of that. So thank you for that. Sorry for missing the first bit of that. BBC Hereford. Hanneke, would it be useful if there was a format for people to follow with links to sports and schools, etc.? Yeah, I think that's a really, there you are. I think it's a really good idea. I think what I've learned through doing this project is there are a number of projects like Glenn's work or people have mentioned about the gloving project that you don't hear about so well. And actually, there's so many brilliant sort of things going on that we were kind of saying that maybe we could get better about linking up in terms of some of the history and the heritage and kind of cross-pollinating. As part of the project, it's later on next year. I can't give you specific dates, but there is talk once the platforms are live. Part of the project is going into schools and doing a cross-generational piece of work and supporting that kind of coming together. And we know people may have seen previous documentaries on TV where they've done cross-generational pieces where care homes have worked with nurseries. In fact, Sammy's currently just a picture, but I do believe some of the care homes actually in Worcester are doing something similar, so it would be great to hear about that. Danny, easy to follow for all ages. Yeah, you know, when we say easy to follow, what does that look like? Because I often, you know, when we say kind of easy to, yeah. What do people think? I think some people are typing. I'll keep an eye on them. Being able to accommodate those whose first language is not English. Thank you, Celia. I think that's a really good point. So there's something in terms of both from the City Council and from a Health and Care Trust perspective. There's a branding and accessibility guide that we have to look at in terms of thinking about all the people who may want to access our websites or our services. So I think as part of that, that's an expectation, but I'll certainly make sure that that's not forgotten about. And Catherine's nodding by me in terms of doing that. Linda, I realise I'm not a Worcester user, but I think I envisage lots of images and themed areas for people to explore. Yeah, and I think if Sheena was here, she'd talk to, I guess there's the two bits of the platform. There's the Know Your Place, which, as I said, I didn't give justice to, where you don't need to be a resident of Worcester to be able to look things up thematically to get something from that. So the reach will actually be far wider. And I think you were actually saying in terms of the Bristol one that you've had sort of in terms of how the different bits that you can kind of look at, if I remember that rightly. So, yeah. So you're right. And maybe there's something about that in terms of this the platforms, how we promote that. So people don't think that we don't want to exclude people who think it's not for them when actually you can use it in a different way. Is that fair, Linda? Yeah. Numbers. Image and text. Okay, that's in music, images and videos for our, yeah, music. Okay, so music came through a bit more in terms of on the chat there. Oh, Carefree Days, I love that. Just in terms of what draws you to it. Thank you, Celia. So we still have quite a few Italians in the Wild Lanes area who were brought over to Metal Box in the 1950s, and some who do not read English well. So just thinking about making sure it's accessible to everybody. What else were people thinking about in terms of what it looks helpful? And I realise that we're kind of coming to time. I've gone over just slightly in terms of my apologies that we were late running. Is there anything that people would like to add? Is it and being quite genuine here, I read on Twitter yesterday, it came from Helen Bevan, who's the NHS Chief Transformational Officer. It said WebEx meetings should be 30 minutes or if not, have a break. So can I thank everybody for staying on for an hour? Because actually it is quite a long time. I know it's not as easy to do a workshop like this to really get a sense of what people want. So I really appreciate everything that people have done. We have got, and I will send out to people, what about Worcester at different times of year, Christmas time? Oh, I love that. Amy, yeah, definitely. In terms of feedback, I know it's not always easy to do it on here. Everybody that's kind of signed up, I will send an email to just saying if there's any further feedback that you want. All this now will be going to First One. So First One is the developer that's going to be doing this platform. And there will be time over the next coming weeks to be able to contribute to that. Oh, I've been asked a final question. Can people answer just one final question for me? Oh, why not do a Worcester Life Stories calendar? Yes, are we able to pose in it, Paul? That was really bad posing.
You're too young, I think.
Sorry, everybody. For First One, what social media platforms do people use? This is going to show, they look at cohorts. Unfortunately, I'm Google and Facebook. I realise that's the only one that I know of. So I'm going to look at Catherine. Is your social media platform Facebook? Put your hands up. That would be me. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. What are the social media platforms? Twitter. Oh yes, no, look, I use Twitter. So there we go. 1, 2, 3. Instagram. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I use Instagram as well, so I'm lying. Anything else?
Just curious about Snapchat.
Oh, Snapchat. There we go. I knew there would be one that no. No. Oh, a little bit, Alice. Yeah. So 1. Yeah. Okay. Brilliant.
We haven't got any crazy TikTokers online then.
Oh, and no crazy TikTokers. Can you hear her? She's. I think I've seen a TikTok. Anyone a crazy? Not sure that that's the right word. Anybody use TikTok? No. Okay. So thank you, everybody. So this will now be live on. Oh, and I should have said, and my apologies. You will all be on YouTube and Facebook because it streams the WebEx meeting. Yes, that's happened now. I did say we were streaming live, but I didn't say obviously that everybody would be on that. So the videos will be on, thanks, will be on Facebook and YouTube. The link will come out. If you've got any other feedback, so the plan going forward is there's going to be a series of workshops over, you're welcome, Amy, over the next couple of months, and we'll send those dates out. So the Know Your Place will be building on the language, and then we'll be coming back with, this is what you told us. It will be that initial template in terms of what we heard. So thanks very much, everybody. And if you're like me, you're probably going to go have a cup of tea and a biscuit. Yeah. Right. Bye.